Hi, everybody. I'm Moral P.
And I'm Robyn Hager.
We are very happy to invite you all to Green Kill tonight to participate in shared art. This series is called White Noise. When me and Robyn were trying to figure out a name for this, we were sitting around like people in bands do, just trying to think of the coolest thing, what sounded the best. And Robyn came out with White Noise. And it was only today that we Googled the definition of it, so I'd love to read it for you guys. The definition of white noise is noise containing many frequencies with equal intensity. I know how I feel when I'm not doing well or when I'm doing really well, and oftentimes there's a low hum in everything I do, and my mind is consumed by things that need to escape. And finding places like this where I can release those things is such a privilege. So this is my white noise. And Robyn, if you'd like to say a couple words.
Yeah, and thank you everyone to coming here tonight. It's a privilege to be able to host this event after being a attendee for so many years in different shapes and forms. As Moral was saying, white noise is definitely a term that I think we can all resonate with. I think it's about the voided space in our lives being filled with something that just drowns everything else out. And although that can be perceived maybe in a negative way in some instances, I think there can be positive white noise. And I think to have a space that fills those extraneous parts of our lives with noise, whether it's white noise or beautiful poetic noise, I think that's kind of what we're trying to gain from this event, and hopefully that this is the first of many to come.
Absolutely. So I'm going to get off stage because Robyn is going to be our leader for tonight. So without further ado, Robyn.
So initially when I was thinking about what I would read for tonight after reading my poetry here for so many years, I really thought that I wanted to dedicate this time as with my first reading of this first event to my past here and to where I came from, because, you know, as I have said to so many people, Green Kill has made me the writer that I am today in so many different ways. So I thought that I would share a piece of writing that was actually in I'll just show it, I brought it with me, the Green Kill newsletter from 2018, from September 2018. I had a few poems featured in this, and I thought I'd read one and have that start out as showing where I came from in quite a negative or sad way. It's not negative, it's just where I came from, and it'll all be positive from there, hopefully. Okay, so this one is called Suicide. I walk outside to a beautiful day. The warm breeze infects my limp skin. I look out to the field and I see sun and the swaying of the wispy plants and all the life around me, and all I can think about is death. Is death really the only way out? Wouldn't you have wanted to enjoy this beautiful day? Without life, there is no sun or plants swaying in the breeze. Without life, we don't have anything. I can't understand, and I probably don't want to, but I know that on my ride back home, I texted my dealer immediately, and he texted me right back. So maybe I will die today too, but at least I should enjoy the wind in my hair and the sun in my eyes. Okay, so that is from 2018, and the rest of these are from 2022. I just have a few more to read, but I thought I'd follow that poem, which I wrote obviously in a very low time of my life, with something that reflects a state of like newfound sobriety. Sorry, I'm like not prepared completely. Okay. This is called Sober as a Stick. My mind is dense, floating liminally above clouds, though sober as a stick, though still a stick and unbroken at that. I am caught up in my own kind of web, one I have spun with dust lying under things unmoved for years. It is getting claustrophobic in here. The flower of a rose cut off, dissected, decapitated from its base, now only a fallen flower, unable to move or to be caught in an embrace. I drink tea and ponder my day, searching through the white fog world to see what is obvious. I am searching for answers in a sea of white. It is never that easy, though. We are only stolen petals stuck in our own spider webs. I am only a branch, a fallen stick, finding answers in what is already known. Okay. This is called Developments. Distracted by my desire to be more, I am halted by the changes that convolute my intent to progress. When does it get easier? Once I find a job, yes, that must be it. A world of birdsong when I am only a starling, scavenging for trash at the bottom of dumpsters, inebriated by the scent of prosthetic honey, I just keep digging deeper. This is called Clover. Full as a fern, the wind of change sways me, rearranges me, until I am just a clover, unable to fly away or slip into my form of four. I am not more lucky than that, of an egg hatching at twilight, forever blinded by a sliver of light that may never become full. We are only small adversaries in grassy meadows of unknown. I am still looking for you in rabbit holes, in snake dens, wondering how you escaped so unscathed. Oh my God, my phone is broken, I'm sorry. All right, I'm gonna start that one over because my phone just shut off on me for a sec. Okay. Clover. Full as a fern, the wind of change sways me, rearranges me, until I am just a clover, unable to fly away or slip into my form of four. I am not more lucky than that, of an egg hatching at twilight, forever blinded by a sliver of light that may never become full. We are only small adversaries in a grassy meadow of unknowns. I am still looking for you in rabbit holes and snake dens, wondering how you escaped so unscathed. And as the sun comes out again, slowly falling behind gray cloud, I wonder if you are behind me, reading my words as I write them, or if you are still there, under a rabbit hole or a snake den, upturned soil marking something that does not want to be known, a restless soul. Yet I hear your words in my ears and recite them now back to you. This is called Crackle. I hear the stop sign in the distance. It is like the ice melting from a sweet tea. I hear the tea, see the crackle of the ice. I find love in the shadows of daffodils and pansies as I see the world unearthed to me. Bugs crawl out from cracks in my thighs. How long? Oh, how long until they crawl back into me? A cockroach in my dresser, silhouettes of people on my walls drawn in charcoal. As the streets of the city speak back to me, I am only a dweller of ashtrays and ponytails. Unassuming eyes, I dream of white underneath blankets of blue and red, and wonder why you aren't next to me. And this is called A Smile Eye. Struck by the lightning of release, a few hours where all the hounds break loose and I am left running wild down city streets laughing to myself. Marked with the defiance of tradition, becoming fully out there, aware of who I am for the world I am. Reaching the bell tower that strikes 6 times, I finally breathe out, hear cars and feet moving around me, see only the streets ahead of me, incapable of falling behind. So I lay down in bed, sink into a rest that is afforded only by slow breaths, and I smile, and a smile I cannot replace, a smile I will search for time and time again. And this is the last one I'll be reading today. And it's also the most recent poem that I've wrote. It's called Sunny Day. If my phone will work with me. Okay, hopefully it works. All right. Sunny day. A sunny day inside feels relevant when staring out of a window. I sit, laze, wait for the sun to change positions, and I careen in my futile state. I daydream of lizards crawling up maple trees and fungus growing in my heart. Sometimes it feels true that though I cannot speak for the lizards, the dust blows them away in my thoughts. Infused in my pores are the warbles of pines unfazed. And waiting for the sun to reach directly overhead, they fluff their feathers and take a deep breath. I breathe out too. My lungs release smoke held in for ages. I cannot deploy that which is long repressed. I am only a warble of distant memory, a lizard of forgotten thoughts. And next up is Moral P.
I don't name my poems often, but this is a poem. Taken was the angel's voice, and I, condemned to never die, would spend countless hours begging a node, countless days spent pacing over this fire, consumed by the smoke of burnt butter. There is no branch brought to my dwelling, no honey upon my breast. Could I hunch my shoulders forward to expose the wings buried in my back? Could I climb to the peaks of Sayulita once more? If I could, would I even take flight? All right, here's my other poem. They're quick. It's going to be rapid fire, guys. I appreciate the snaps, but... All right, my second poem. Captain's log. I have once again compromised the bones in my mouth. The sound my back makes when I walk is indicative of erosion, and when I bow to you, the wind from the cavern of my chest breaks forth, and you turn to some fat goth chick and say, her insides are so vast and so hollow. Brittany at the stabilization center says, maybe the moon is not your friend, and she tells me about the goddess that she worships. A vigil on her desk lies to me, a rosary bathed in her grandmother's hands. I have yet to admit this out loud, but this is the happiest I've ever been in my entire fucking life. I wrote this poem a few days ago about a guy that I love. He doesn't know that. He sits opposite of me while I beg to know the most unlovable thing about him. He's pinched shut at the center like a paper fortune teller, and I am an audience of schoolgirls writing boys' names in the palm of my hand, clamoring for prophecy. I only stop to hear the sound of parchment tearing open, not apart for once. Even when I'm finally brave enough to open my eyes, there is nothing but a blanket of grass 100 acres long. There is a symphony of birds living inside my 6 a.m. alarm, and it is now a week later. Promises that cannot be promised like a wave that never breaks. I'm too distracted to notice the sweat on my hands has cleared my palm of ink. I shut my eyes and I see the limestone of cave walls, a stage over still water. A gentle hurricane finds shelter in my lap. Soaked in salt, I dig through the nests you carry on your head, a million of you braided like twine, a million woven like muscle. I did not ask for refuge, yet here I am. That feels so good to read, except for in a couple weeks when I don't like him. All right, here's an older poem. I'm having phone problems like Robyn, and that's okay. This poem has a title. It's called Weather Wax. My sister, the patron saint of Schenectady, coated in crystals, amethyst, and amphetamine, her blood is constant ribbons of electric energy that buzz to the tune of the capital, the mighty Empire State, frenzied like the inside of her mother's chest. My sister, the queen of hearts, she will break yours and piece it back together quicker than the strike of a match. She lives in a tinderbox, and I am a garden hose with way too many knots. Weary, she stands perched over the stone grinder, sharpened strips of steel to cut the throat of any man who would stifle her speech, yet I have never seen her strike a blow. Sparks fly in a house of dry leaves, fall upon a ground of cedarwood shavings. She lives in that tinderbox, and when it goes up, there are flames, but there is no noise. My nose searches for smoke. It does not need to. My sister, the muted mermaid, except here, song is not a golden ball snatched from a throat. Song is a shout that falls on deaf ears, a ripple in a vast sea, a dog whistle in a world where I am the dog. Sometimes song is a feast of rotten meat and fermented fruit we mix with sugar and bread and drink heavy in some rehab, any rehab in the tri-state area. This song is food poisoning. I have never lost my appetite. My sister, the green-eyed glutton, from her mouth drips oil and pepper, falls upon a lap of crumbs, yet her stomach is so hollow. She gorges, remains empty. I shove fistfuls of poppy down her throat, fix her feeding tube of chamomile and nutmeg. She keeps nothing down while I watch her consume every bite of what I give. I sell my plasma, my blood, to buy PVC pipe, bags of cement. I sell my television to fashion her support beams, yet in spite of my best effort, my most dishonest effort, I cannot prevent her collapse. My sister, my love, today when I closed my eyes on the J train, I had a vision of you in a rickety skiff being pulled by the tide, a ripple in that vast sea. I watched as the ocean took you from me, and this time I stayed on shore. This is called Real Talk. This young boy, this baby-faced angel, post-9/11, post-Bush administration, he's never even heard of the band The Prodigy or the MySpace era. He listens to a couple of podcasts. He's smart now, and he's doodling swastikas on his public school desk post-Holocaust. A boy who just last week called someone the N-word on Xbox Live. He's just a kid, and I don't care. Fuck him. This is called Daily Reflections in 3 parts. 1, last night I had a dream I finally lost my mind, but I was fully aware it was happening. My in-dream reaction was something like, well, this is the moment that I'll never be me again, as if that even existed, completely unfazed, because I know this is not the first or the last time. I've lived this before, and yet I don't know when it's even occurring. Something else takes place, and then after that, nothing is the same as before, but I don't even notice, and when I don't notice, that is the thing that phases me. Part 2. Last night, my boyfriend started up his Xbox Live and decided to download Halo. We were going to take turns, and when the game was loading up, he gave me them eyes, and I gave him right back, and we banged like dogs on my sofa. Took turns, and it wasn't until I was full of cum that I realized that we fucked to the Halo opening theme music, and I felt so ungrateful. Because if the internet taught me anything, it is that some people would have paid very good money for that experience, and it was wasted on me. Part 3. Last night, I heard scratching inside the walls of my bathroom. I got down on my hands and knees next to my toilet, a toilet that is not clean, dug a hole in the insulation with the nail file I had in my drawer and one of my best knives, the one my mom gifted me the previous Christmas. She's sober now. The scratching did not stop, and I could not reach the source, and I stood up and took a look at the mirror, and I was wearing my house dress covered in drywall, and I knew this is what an insane person looked like. And I thought how tragic and how beautiful it would be when my friends locked me away and found these shreds of writing. They would say, "Oh, Melissa, she is so brilliant, yet so tortured. Oh, what a soul of an artist, so bright, yet it burns out in a roar. We will tell her stories, and her name will live on in these pages. Oh, Melissa." So this morning, I bought spackle and paint and fixed the hole. I figured it was just a squirrel. I think I have one more. This is my magnum opus. It is called The Torrid and Totally True Tale of Bubblegum Longlegs. Thank you. If you tell a lie, and later on it turns out to be the truth, is it still a lie? I heard once that if you swallow bubblegum, it will hang in your gut for 7 years, and that is just one piece. Imagine you chewed an entire roll of Hubba Bubba and swallowed it whole just to show you could. 7 years from now, you'd take a shit and blow a bubble out of your ass so big it probably would kill you. Still, you take that gum and you chew it up anyway because everyone says you won't and that you're a pussy, and Cindy Callahan is there and you don't want to look like a pussy in front of Cindy Callahan. You've got something to prove. what you, what it is you're not even sure of. You want to look so cool, so bad, but you cannot stop thinking about your asshole 7 years from now. So what do? You chicken out. You spit this wad of gum into your hand and you stick it under the table of the food court when no one's looking. I forgot to mention you're in a mall. But maybe you chewed a little too much, and instead of losing the flavor of this gum, it gets smart. Try to follow me here. Think Pinocchio, except not nearly as well written. Maybe you chewed it so much that a part of you got into it. All that fear, projection, and doubt all mixed up in your saliva comes out through the glands of your mouth, and you chewed a soul into this piece of bubble gum, and you didn't even mean to. All you really need to make up a person, essentially, is fear and dishonesty and probably a bunch of spit. Something left you and in turn created him, this little bubblegum boy. We are gendering the bubblegum. The bubblegum is a he. I mean, you know what all these lab coats say. Matter cannot be created nor destroyed. Sometimes what you spit out turns into something you never even expected. Think the tooth fairy, except way less believable. So now you've got this piece of gum and maybe it grows up. But, oh shit. I gotta go back to it. Here we go. Not my magnum opus. So maybe now you've got this piece of gum and maybe it grows up. But it's still gum. Gum with a brain, gum with a favorite baseball team, gum that wants to be grown up so bad, but he's just a really tall kid, a really tall kid. So what does a piece of bubble gum do when they have a soul and want to act grown up? They get a job. He works the pizza joint in the mall where he was born, where his father left him, as fathers often do. A father who never taught him how to be a man and left behind his own fears and doubts and lies, and this little bubblegum boy would grow up with them all inside of him, and they would stay in his gut way longer than 7 years. Stayed inside him so long, you could only imagine what would happen if he shit them out. He feels so human, and that makes him human, even though he's just gum. And like most humans, he wants to be a hero. He's got something to prove, but he's just not sure what. So, when the Army recruiter comes, try to follow me here. Bubblegum Longlegs answers that call of duty. Think the video game, except way more stupid. The piece of gum wants to be a hero of the story, the good guy. Take those fears and doubts and lies and more lies and live those lies so hard they become the truth, make them so beautiful and worth having. We all want to be a hero. Please tell me you all want to be a hero just like me. We all want what's in us to be way more poetic than it actually is. Not to say what's in us isn't beautiful, not to say I'm the villain or you're the villain. It just makes so much more sense, feels a lot more honest to believe that maybe we are all just bubblegum long legs. Not good, not bad, not truth, not lie, just gum. I have one more. It's called My Buddy Doug. Pretty not great how we forgive rapist YouTubers if they post an apology video and maybe hang out with a gay person. Same with YouTubers who do blackface, same with politicians who do blackface or rape someone. I won't listen to anything R. Kelly makes in the future, but I'm still gonna listen to Remix to Ignition, obviously. My buddy Doug says he's got a drinking problem, but he still does Molly sometimes and sometimes still drinks. But just one beer, and when he's only playing billiards, he doesn't like to sit in an idle car when he's drinking beer. He likes to drive around because he's a black guy. If you sit in a car as a black guy and drink a beer, that's not good. But if you drive around, that's fine. He drives around, he drinks a beer, but only one. He calls me up, tells me how he punched his girl in the face because they did a bunch of Molly and she called the cops. Not because he hit her, but because of something else. She called way before that. Says he's gonna move to Colorado. Pot's legal there, and if we all go in on a house, it'll be mad cheap. You, me, Jimmy, the girl, just not Jimmy's girlfriend. She sucks. Imagine, man. He never told me why he punched her in the face, but I forgive him. Thank you.
Thank you, Moral, for reading. And next we have Ping and Pang.
Hi, this is my sister. Her name is Dimitri, and she's gonna be famous someday. So I'm gonna play the guitar for her so she can sing. And then you guys can get her autograph at the end.
Jolene, 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 I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. Jolene, 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 please don't take him just because you can. Your beauty is beyond compare, with flaming locks of vibrant hair and ivory skin of eyes of emerald green. Your smile's like a breath of spring, your voice is soft like summer rain, and I cannot compete with you, Jolene. He talks about you in his sleep, there's nothing I can do to keep from crying when he calls your name, Jolene. And I can easily understand how you could easily take my man, but you don't know what he means to me, Jolene. Jolene, 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 I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. Jolene, 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 please don't take him just because you can. You could have your choice of men, but I could never love again. He's the only one for me, Jolene. I had to have this talk with you.
Keep going.
My happiness depends on you and whatever you decide to do, Jolene. Jolene, 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 I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. Jolene, 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 please don't take him just because you can.
Got it. Thank you, Ping and Pang. It was wonderful. Next up, we have Foster.
So, I had no intention of doing anything but being my sister's guitar player tonight. But y'all was really intimate, and I was like, I'm feeling it. So, I haven't read this since I wrote it in 2017. So we'll see how it makes me feel now. So this is called The Happiest Moment of My Life. The happiest moment of my life was found in the midst of a series of unfortunate events. I am 6 years old, sitting in Miss Chambers' kindergarten class, staring at my phonics book in front of me. Mrs. Chambers points to the image of the cat on the board. It's chilly in the classroom. A gust of wind comes in the front, from the back windows, still open from the summertime. Repeat after me, Miss Chambers states. The children follow. C, A, the phone rings. Mrs. Chambers puts down her pointer and walks to the back door where the phone hangs on the wall. My stomach hurts. I'm homesick. I can't wait for Mom to pick me up. Miss Chambers returns after a moment and gestures to me. Pico, you're wanted in the office. Ooh, the class hisses. My stomach turns again, a little more sour now. It's all a little blurry after this point. I would later on have this identified as blacking out, a coping mechanism for small children suffering from PTSD. I'm met by a tall woman with short hair. She pulls me aside with a cold expression. My heart turns again, my stomach more sour. The next 24 hours are filled with smiling women in pantsuits telling me everything's going to be okay. I'm told my mom is in the hospital because she has a really bad headache and my half-brother is going to stay with his dad for the time being. But where am I going to stay? I think to myself. At the end of the day, I am greeted by another pantsuited woman. She sits me down on a wooden bench outside the school and explains to me that I'm going to stay with some friends until my mom feels better. It's the afternoon now and the air is cold. Fall winds make my bones shiver. I hope Mom's headache goes away soon. I climb into Pantsuit's minivan. I've never been in one of these luxuries before. We pull up to a small modular home with a big green tree in the front yard. More blocked out, more amnesia. I'm in the living room, and Pantsuit left a couple hours ago. There's a big fat lady, and she has many children running around. The adults are smoking cigarettes in the house. That's odd, I think. The children's skin is a different color than mine, and I'm confused. The house is hot and stuffy, and there's a TV blasting in the living room. Pictures on the screen. Pictures are not Winnie the Pooh and his bucket of honey. The big woman puts me in bed that's in a small room with other beds. More amnesia. It's late now. A dark-skinned girl sits in my bed, and I'm typing on her laptop. I've never seen one of these before. Big woman enters and screams, "Get your ass back to bed. That little girl gotta go to school in the morning." Pantsuit picks me up in the minivan to go to school in the morning. She hands me my lunch in the back seat. It's some sort of sandwich in a wax paper with a big yellow M on the front. Maybe if I go to school, then Mom will pick me up at the end of the day. I run to class as fast as possible. Pantsuit picks me up. Pantsuit drops me off. Nighttime, daytime. Pantsuit picks me up and Pantsuit drops me off. Big woman, bigger stomach ache, more amnesia. The 5th day I wake up. The 5th day is the happiest day of my life. Autumn has really caught up now. The air is crisp. Pantsuit and I do our routine. I sit through another day at school. Repeat after me. H, A, T. I'm getting ready to leave. My name is called to go to meet with Pantsuit in the back parking lot. I reluctantly walk down the wood back stairs of my old school to look for minivan. Where's minivan? Where's Pantsuit? I see a Nissan. Red car, that's my car. Amnesia. I'm standing behind Mom at the back door. She's turning the key. The smell of her clothing is the medicine to a 6-day stomach ache. I explode through the door. My dog. Oh, good black dog. I run upstairs to my mom and back down where my mom meets me. I stand on the second to last stair where I'm head level with Mom. She hugs me and tells me we will be together forever. This is the happiest day of my life. And that is a short monologue of my time in foster care. Thank you.
So for those who don't know me, who doesn't know me? Okay. My stage name's Lunacy Crown because it's an anagram of my real name, which is Duncan Crowley. Same letters, different order. I've been doing spoken word for a little over a decade, and I started writing songs to sing last year, so I'm going to do one of each. Spoken word first. This first one's called Mother Nature's Mind. Gotta collect my mind, get a grip on reality, center myself in the middle of my split personality, sit down, get situated in the space beyond duality. Every part of life reflects the whole in its vitality, and every heart and soul exists in immortality. Once your tiny mind has grown into infinity, you will finally find your own divinity. Spirituality is simply seeing to the center of your being and dissolving like a drop to the ocean of totality. The entire universe is movement and activity. Everything is fluid. The mind creates these rigid forms. From the day we're born, we live in captivity, trapped in a sea of faces staring at us with frigid scorn. Snap back to reality. In a flash, it happens vividly. It's funny when you find a sunny island hidden in the middle of the storm. You'll fly like a dove and rise above to another state of consciousness. Peace, joy, and love. Nothing exists beyond this constant bliss. The religious experience beyond the dress codes, robes, and rituals. Any image made of God is false, especially those that are traditional. The Bible is a storybook. The tale is purely mythical. I'm not sure if that means the message at its heart is fictional. All spiritual traditions have the same core of truth at their hearts. It's inexplicable. A mystery we call the mind, the source of life that lies beyond the physical. This force of light resides in the dimension of the mystical. Mother Nature's mind is beautiful, divine, and unpredictable. There is no other maker. This is God, not some vicious, despicable, old bearded man floating on the clouds like a dirigible. It's neither man nor woman. Divinity is not depictable. We are one with our sun and all the stars that shine. You are far from ordinary. In reality, you are divine. God is everywhere. It lives in every heart. It's not something odd or rare, you've known it from the very start. The source of everything is the spark inside your mind. We all dream the world in slumber, no wonder God was hard to find. It's in a clever hiding spot, whoever hid it there is smart. 'Cause you and I, this big blue earth, and God have never been apart. The sands of time keep drifting on as I churn out this verse. It's time to expand your mind just like the shifting universe. These lines will turn your rotten minds inside out and show you all the things that you have forgotten. I'm so hot, when I die I'll combust and burn the hearse to ashes, but breathe. For each breath is a blessing. You can teach the lesson to the masses easily enough, but you gotta learn it first. Gotta collect my mind, get a grip on reality, center myself in the middle of my split personality, sit down, get situated in the space beyond duality. Every part of life reflects the whole in its vitality, and every heart and soul exists in immortality. Once your tiny mind has grown into infinity, you will finally find your own divinity. Spirituality is simply seeing to the center of your being and dissolving like a drop into the ocean of totality. Breathing in forest air, feeling the spirit I'm sure is there. The energy is pure and fair. It's destiny to cure my cares. Soothing music from the rocks and trees shock my soul. I got down on my knees and worship Mother Nature on the spot with these. Communed with the Creator and heard the song upon the breeze. I feel a shiver down my spine. My body's drifting through the river of time. This life is a quilt, we're just stitching the lines. Can't tell which heart is yours and which one is mine. Listless by these mountain streams, listening hopes, counting dreams, not made by the hands of men, it's found in seams. Sight these eyes have never seen, a bounty quite so green. Soothing music from the rocks and trees shock my soul. Got down on my knees and worship Mother Nature on the spot with these. Nope, I said that already. Shit, sorry. Oh, man. Sorry. You know what? I'm just gonna do it without the bass. It's messing me up. Just give me a second. Sorry. water shining from a mossy brook. I'm seeking knowledge like a library that lost a book. Among the trees seemed as feasible a spot to look as any. But I felt so many spirits there, it's got me shook. I feel a shiver down my spine. My body's drifting through the river of time. This life is a quilt, we're just stitching the lines. Can't tell which heart is yours and which one is mine. I said I feel a shiver down my spine. My body's drifting through the river of time. This life is a quilt, we're just stitching lines. Can't tell which heart is yours, which one is mine. Thanks.
So, I am going to start by dedicating my poetry to the Norse gods, particularly Odin, who I consider to be my patron god, and I truly believe that Odin fuels my ability to write, and I feel very passionately about writing about the gods and writing for the gods, and I'm just gonna go with it. I'm all tongue-tied. I'm always tongue-tied unless I'm actually writing. So, All Father. You know nothing until death. Eye of Odin, it burns through all deception. Wise is he who traded fair sight for knowledge, tossing his eye into the well to look upon the depths of unknown truths, to drink up each dream and devour every nightmare. No lie slips past, no deed untold. All things are seen, all things are known. 9 nights he hung upon the boughs, pursuing the truth of the runes. Madness churning inside of his mind. No drink nor sustenance did he accept. His suffering transformed into wisdom. The old one, the hanged god of sacrifice, he reminds us, you must humble thy perception, for you know nothing until death. To honor an old god. Think of Odin as a very busy father. He is hard at work in his study or his office, and he does not want to be bothered. If you keep knocking on his door incessantly, he will make you wait longer. Do not beg as an impatient child for his attention, or he will watch you have a fit and ignore you at his leisure. He will go right back to what he is interested in, and if he wants you, you'll know. Odin will show you the weaknesses you have and inform you that you need to work on them. He wants you to become the best version of yourself that is attainable within your power. He does not appreciate complaining. To ask for guidance is one thing, and he will provide you with the intellectual tools needed to start your path. But you can't be a bitch about it, or he will make you look foolish. You'll end up looking like a frightened little child, and that's no way to gain his approval. He's not going to cuddle you. Sometimes he won't speak to you for months, and you'll feel as if he's perhaps abandoned you. He hasn't really. He's got shit to tend to. You're not a child, are you? He is the All-Father, after all. He's the strong, masculine, paternal figure who wants you to stand on your own, to hold your own, and to be able to take things in stride. And if you ask to prove yourself to him, and he comes around, you best be able to put your ass in motion and show him what you're capable of. Action pleases him, and he won't settle for half-assed attempts or trite, empty actions. He wants only diligent and respectful motivation, humble but confident action for you to consistently improve or make adjustments to yourself. When you aspire to a goal, he wants you to actually follow through with the necessary actions to attain the splendor of it. And when you truly manage to reach the point where he is proud of you, he will certainly let you know. He provides accolades and gives merit when it is truly deserved. He wants you to work for your glory. He wants you to invest in the time you have into a legacy, a story, a kingdom, nothing less. Our venture is ours. There are many paths for our soul to wander. Both beauty and fear reside in all of them. The sacrifice, the faith, the lesson, these govern the heart. These guide the mind. These influence the spirit's vitality. All things are cyclical in time. All things are relevant. To the smallest ant, to the sweeping tides. Both are powerful in their own right. All things are connected. Chaos and order, clarity and confusion, alignment and illusion. We decide our fate by the path we seek. The polarity, the final judgment, the resurrection, the reincarnation, the renewal, the absolute, the scales, the karmic transference, the journey through the ether, even into the great nothing. May we find the meaning of what we need in both beauty and fear. Our venture is precious. Our venture is ours. The sacred flow. All things are cyclical. The sun warms the earth. The earth hides the seed. From the earth sprouts the tree. The tree grows the fruit. We eat the fruit. The fruit fuels our bodies. Our bodies are the vessel in the cosmic dance, the sacred flow. We dance until we do not. We return to the earth, but we do not end. We transform. We become the life force of that which consumes us. Ant, beetle, bird, snake. The ant is eaten by the beetle by the bird gives way to eggs, snakes eat the bird. Those who live, those who dance eat the snake. The cycle begins again, with different names and different faces, as we grow again under the light of the sun, the sacred dance, the sacred flow. Do you guys want to hear more, or is my time up? Deep, deep, much deeper than you know, deep within time do these ancient roots grow. All things bloom from her boughs, she is the ancient mother. All things unfurl into life, by her will alone, by her might of miracle. Yggdrasil, all souls return to source. Cyclical is the law that rules, all energy transformed, renewal and rebirth. She is the sacred mother of earth. And here is a dedication poem I created with the All-Father in mind, and I made it on Father's Day because I don't like my actual father, so I pick a god that I feel resonates with what I think is strong paternal energy. All-Father, I will always return home to you. You wiped the soot from my eyes, and you whispered words to help my deaf ears understand the language of eternity. You plucked the confusion from my mind like birds, and I found clarity. These lessons, these gifts are immeasurable. All Father, I will always return home to you. As each gift of life fades to an end, I will find my way back. For my roots run deep from the one who gave me strength, the one who lifted my head to gaze upon the boughs of time, the one who taught me my true name, the one who accepts my rage, and the one who guides me to heal from the wounds I have, to one day be victorious in my soul's intended splendor. All Father, I will always return home to you. With grace and trust and courage, I shall not falter. I do have one more I want to read. It's not quite a poem, it's more a thought about my ancestors, I suppose. If you guys have, are you, more? Okay. Just give me a hot minute here. If I could find it, I'll be right on that. Okay. A letter to my ancestors. I'm sure you know this already, but I'm a bit of a mess. I'm quite loud whether the occasion calls for it or not. Though also I'm terribly shy. I'm a bundle of nerves, weeping, raging, howling, cackling like a mad woman. I have terrible habits, and I'm very forgetful in the worst ways. I'm always frustrated, and I have horrible, intrusive thoughts, not to mention I often have the vocabulary of a sailor. I am the most patient, impatient person you will ever know. I'll rage to myself about nothing important, but wait years for an apology. Perhaps we shouldn't get into the psychology of it all. It's far more complicated than you have time for. I'm a modern woman dealing with modern influences and without any reliable guidance at that. I'm sure it's a sight. I don't doubt that when I meet you, surely many of you will have a heavy opinion to serve me. I'm sure you'll snicker or mock, perhaps poke a sour joke. And perhaps then, and only then, I'll learn to save face. We're family, after all, and I promise you, I could be much, much worse.
And I guess that concludes our first session of White Noise. Thank you to everyone who came. This has been such an enjoyable experience for me to be able to host an event to such amazing performers and writers, and to do it alongside this amazing gal right here.
Yeah, I feel distinctly blessed right now, and just so happy that I can participate in this with someone I care so much about, but also all of you who I've grown to know in this last hour and a half. You know, what a special thing to be able to do that, and hopefully this will happen again in the future, and we can hear more of your stories and more of your white noise or lack thereof. I think that's it.
Yeah. Have a great night.
Bye.